Shalom, shalom. How's it going? So this is cover to cover with Jeremy Pyers. That was Karen, and I'm Jeremy Pyers. So welcome to part two of Genesis or Bereshith. So we're gonna start at chapter 5. Here's where we left off last time. So welcome all. And just check the chat here really quickly. Welcome Rodney. Shalom, brother. So, alright, let's jump right into it here. So, Bereshith, chapter 5. Hold on, let me get the right tab. Alright, I think I got it. So, chapter 5. This is the book of the genealogy of Adam. In that day that Elohim created man, he made him in the likeness of Elohim. Male and female, he created them, and he baruched them, and called their name Adam, in the day that they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and brought forth a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Sheth. And after he brought forth Sheth, the days of Adam were 800 years, and he brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Sheth lived 105 years, and brought forth Enosh. And after he brought forth Enosh, Sheth lived 807 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Sheth were 912 years, and he died. Excuse me. And Enosh lived 90 years, and brought forth Canaan. And after he brought forth Canaan, Enosh lived 815 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years, and brought forth Halleluyah. Excuse me. After he brought forth Halleluyah, Canaan lived 840 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Halleluyah lived 65 years, and brought forth Yered. And after he brought forth Yered, Halleluyah lived 830 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Halleluyah were 895 years, and he died. And Yered lived 162 years, and brought forth Hanok, which is the Enoch. And after he brought forth Hanok, Yered lived 800 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Yered were 962 years, and he died. And Hanok lived 65 years, and brought forth Methuselah. And after he brought forth Methuselah, Hanok walked with Elohim 300 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. Notice how he walked with Elohim. So all the days of Hanok were 365 years. And Hanok walked with Elohim, then he was no more, for Elohim took him. Excuse me. Let's see, where was I? And Methuselah lived 170 years, and brought forth Lamech. After he brought forth Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and brought forth a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This one conforms us concerning our work and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which Yahweh has cursed. And after he brought forth Noah, Lamech lived 595 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah brought forth Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Excuse me. Alright, so let me just check the chat here really quick, make sure everything is working 100%. Looks like it. Alright. We'll continue here. And it came to be, when men began to increase on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw that the daughters of men, and that they were good. Saw the daughters of men, and that they were good, and that they took wives for themselves, of all whom they chose. And Yahweh said, My Ruach shall not strive with mankind forever, in his going astray. He is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. So yeah, right here, this is when the angels, the watchers that were actually sent to guard and watch over us, sinned and mated with women. These created the Nephilim giants. And this is when also when Yahweh started putting our days at 120 years instead of almost 1,000. Anyway, I'll continue. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men of old, the men of name. You know, if you didn't know, the mighty men of old, you know, all the Greek gods and all this and that, that's what they were. Hercules, Nephilim. They're stories of Nephilim. Anyway. And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every inclination of the thought of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahweh was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. And Yahweh said, I am going to wipe off man, who I created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping creature, and birds of the Shamayim, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahweh. For this is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with Elohim, and Noah brought forth 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and saw that it was corrupt, for all the flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and see, I am going to destroy them from the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood, make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and out with tar. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 amah, its width 50 amah, and its height 30 amah, or cubits. Make a window for the ark, and complete it to an amah above, and put the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. And see, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth, to destroy all flesh, which is the breath of life from under the Shamayim. All that is on the earth is to die. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you, and all the living creatures of all the flesh. 2 of each. Excuse me. You are to bring into the ark, to keep them alive with you, a male and a female, of the birds after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, and all the creeping creatures and the earth after their kind. 2 of each are to come to you, keep them alive. As for you, take of all food that is eaten, and gather it to yourself. And it shall be food for you and for them. And Noah did according to all that Elohim commanded him, and so he did. So, just check the chat here real quick. So, just kind of wanted to point something out there as well. Shalom, shalom. How's it going? Welcome. So, just kind of wanted to point out, the ark there. If you haven't already, go check out the discoveries of Ron Wyatt. He discovered exactly where the ark is, and it's a whole documentary on it, and it's pretty amazing. So, I highly recommend it if you haven't already. It's Ron Wyatt. Pretty much as soon as you type it in the search bar, you'll probably find it. It's Ron Wyatt and his ark discovery. It's pretty amazing. He found a lot more as well. So, his videos are actually on my homepage. If you go to my homepage here on YouTube, in my created list or added list, something like that, his channel will be there. So, yeah, shalom. Welcome everybody, all the newcomers. So let's continue here. And we're on chapter 7 of Bereshith. Excuse me. And Yahweh said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen you are righteous before me in this generation. All of the clean beasts take with you 7 pairs." So you notice right here, the clean ones, he took 7, a male and his female. And of the beasts that are unclean, 2, a male and his female. See, there's a clear distinction here. Take 7 clean, and then only 2 of the unclean animals. And of birds, of the Shamayim, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I am sending rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and shall wipe from the face of the earth all that stand created. And Noah did according to all that Yahweh commanded him. Now Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean beasts and of the beasts that are unclean, and of the birds and all that creep on the earth, 2 by 2 they went in the ark, to Noah male and female, as Elohim commanded Noah. And it came to be, after 7 days, that the waters of the flood were on the earth. And in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month of the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the fountains of the great deep were broken out, and the windows of the Shamayim were open. See, the windows of the Shamayim, the firmament. And the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And on that same day, Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, went into the ark. They and every living creature after its kind, every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, two by two, of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. And those going in, male and female of all flesh, went in as Elohim had commanded him, and Yahweh shut him in. And the flood was on the earth 40 days. Excuse me. And the waters increased, and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. And the waters were mighty, and greatly increased on the earth. And the ark moved about on the surface of the waters, and the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth. And all the high mountains were under all the Shamayim were covered. The waters became mighty, 15 amma upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth, and all mankind. All in whose nostrils was the breath of spirit of life, all that was on the dry land died. So he wiped off all that stand, which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature and bird of the Shamayim, and they were wiped off from the earth. And only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. And the waters were mighty on the earth 150 days. Another couple things to point out here, it says the face of the ground. And also, you really have to research biblical cosmology. It's all over. NASA is deception. I think it's absolutely important that people understand this in these days. There's going to be a great deception coming. And if you believe in an infinite universe, you're going to be, yeah. Trust me, it's coming. Anyway, enough of my rants. Let's just check the chat here again. Make sure there's no questions. Oh, no, we're good. Keep going here. And Elohim remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided, and the fountains of the deep, and the windows of the Shamayim were stopped, and the rain from the Shamayim was withheld. And the waters receded steadily from the earth. And at the end of 150 days, the waters diminished. And in the 7th month, the 17th day of the month, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. And and the waters decreased steadily until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains became visible. And it came to be, at the end of 40 days, that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent out a raven, which kept going out and turning back until the waters had dried up from the earth. But one more thing I kind of forgot to mention back here. Research the history of the worldwide flood that's recorded all throughout the earth in all cultures. Talks about every single culture talks about a worldwide flood that happened. And guess what? Most of them have these 7 here, or yeah, what is it? No, these 8. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. Most of them have stories about 7 or 8 people that started their civilization. And guess where that came from? Anyway, sorry. then he sent out a dove from him to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for its feet, and returned to the ark to him. For the waters were on the face of all the earth. So he put out his hand and took it, and pulled it to the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. And the dove came to him in the evening, and see, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in its mouth. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. And he waited yet another 7 days, and sent out the dove, which did not return to him again. And it came to be, in the 601st year, in the first month, at the first day of the month, that the waters were dried up from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and saw the surface of the ground was dry. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. And Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living creature of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, of all creeping creatures that creep on the earth. And let them teem on the earth, and bear and increase on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping creature, and every bird whatsoever creeps on the earth, according to their kind, went out of the ark. And Noah built an altar to Yahweh, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Yahweh smelled a soothing fragrance. And Yahweh said in his heart, Never again shall I curse the ground because of man, although the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and never again smite all life as I have done. As long as the earth remains seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. It's pretty amazing, it even shows, Noah was doing sacrifices. This was clearly before Moses. So, anyway, just kind of goes to show, Yahweh was the same then, now, and forever. Like, he doesn't change. Nothing of his laws changes, none of that. So we're on 9 here. Let me just check the chat for a moment. Nope, looks like we're still good. Still good. Alright. Just a second here. Alright. And Elohim barak Noah and his sons, and said to them, Bear fruit, and increase, and fill the earth. And the fear of you, and the dread of you, is on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the Shamayim, on all that creeps on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they have been given. Every moving creature that lives is food for you. I have given you all as the great plants, as the green plants. But do not eat flesh with its life, its blood, but only your blood for your lives I require. From the hand of every beast I require it, and from the hand of man, and from the hand of every man's brother I require the life of man. Whosoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood is shed. For in the image of Elohim he has made a man. Excuse me. As for you, bear fruit and increase. Bring forth teemingly in the earth and increase in it. And Elohim spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I see, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the birds, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. And I shall establish my covenant with you. And never again is all flesh cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again is there a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you, for all generations to come. I shall put my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Speaking of rainbows, actually, I just saw this experiment, or this, I don't know what it was, a fact, I guess. You cannot create a rainbow indoors. It's very interesting. No matter what kind of light, it won't be able to create a rainbow unless you use some kind of mirror. So seeing as, the Shamayim firmament is a crystalline structure, I don't know, it just made a lot of sense when I heard that and looked it up. Go ahead, look it up. Anyway, and it shall be when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud. And I shall remember my covenant, which is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh. And never again let the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I shall see it, to remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. And the sons of Noah who went out who went out of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and all the earth was overspread from them. And Noah, a man of the soil, began and planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine, and was drunk, and became uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it on both their shoulders, and went backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father. But their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done to him. And he said, Cursed is Canaan, let him become a servant of servants to his brothers. And he said, Baruch be Yahuwah, the Elohim of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. Remember all this right here, because this is going to be important for later. Let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. This part where Ham saw his father's nakedness, there's a lot of speculation on what exactly happened. Some say he slept with his mother. Some say he committed a homosexual act. I don't know. It's not really clear, honestly, but we'll get into this more down the road. But anyway, just remember, Canaan was cursed because of that. And, and who's living in the land that Moses and them have to slaughter? Canaanites. So yeah, just a little fun fact. Remember this. So let me just check the chat here. Looks like no questions. All right. So we're on 10 here. Might do a couple more, or maybe we'll just stop at a. No, we'll do a couple more here. And this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And sons were born to them after the flood. And the sons of Japheth: Gomer, and Magog, and Medai, and Yawan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras, and the son of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rippath, and Togarmah, and the sons of Yawan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. From these the coastland peoples of the nations were separated into their land, everyone according to his language, according to their clans, into their nations. Excuse me. So there was back then there wasn't race, there was clans and nations. So my thing is they were all different colors here. So there's not, in my opinion, there's not one chosen race. Israel is a nation of grafted in ones. Anyway, I'll continue here. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush: Seba, and Hawilah, and Seba, and Sebta, and Ramah, and Sebteka. And the sons of Ramah, and Sheba, and Degdan. And Cush brought forth Nimrod. Nimrod is the one who started the first world order. Hence the name the New World Order. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh. And the beginning of his reign was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calnan, in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Ashur, and built Nineveh, and Rehoboth, and Calah, and Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the great city. And Mitzrayim brought forth Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphtuhim, and Pathrusma, and Cashulim, from whom came the Pelishites, and Caphtorim. And Canaan brought forth Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hiwitite, and the Arkite, and the Sinanite, and the Architite, and the Ceramite, and the Hamathite. These are quite the names. Forgive me. Hamathite. Afterward, the clans of the Canaanites were spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as you go toward Gerar, as far as Azah. As you go towards Sedom and Amorah, or Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah and Seboim, as far as Lesha. These were the sons of Ham, according to their clans, according to their languages, in their lands, in their nations. And also to Shem, the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder brought forth. The sons of Shem, Elam and Ashur, and Arpachshad, and Lud, and Aram, and the sons of Aram, Uts, and Hul, and Gethur, and Mash, and Arpachshad brought forth Shelah, and Shelah brought forth Eber. And Eber were born two sons, the name of one Pelag, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother named Yoktan. And Yoktan brought forth Almodad, and Shelaph, and Hetzaramawath, and Yera, and Hadorim, and Uzal, and Dikla, and Obal, and Amibal, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Hawilah, and Yobab. These were all the sons of Yoktan. And their dwelling place was from Mesha, as you go towards Saphar, a mountain of the east. These were the sons of Shem, according to their clans, according to their languages, in their lands, according to their nations. These were the clans of the sons of Noah, according to their generations, in their nations. And from these the nations were divided on the earth after the flood. Whew, goodness. So, yeah, those are quite the names. Forgive me for butchering them. You know, it just goes to show, before the flood, there was nothing. The inclination of all men's hearts was nothing but evil, basically. There was Nephilim giants. These Nephilim and fallen angels also mated with animals and did all kinds of stuff. We'll get into that as we get into different books. But, they ended up mating with animals and such, which, hence all the different Egyptian gods and these different, all these different pagan gods that are like half animal, half human. This is where all this stemmed from the Nephilim giants and the fallen angels. Don't believe me? Do some research. Anyway, so if anyone has any questions, I think we're going to stop right there for today. We're at 40 minutes now. Seems about a decent amount of time before I bore anybody to death with this. Doesn't look like any questions or anything. Yeah, Brother Rodney, the AI, the AI is working hard to cover up the truth. On Facebook alone, I've been blocked, or not blocked, banned 2 or 3 times in a row now. A couple of them they've apologized for. Like, literally, the second I posted, this happened last night, the second I posted, I scroll down, all of a sudden I was banned. I was like, what? 10 minutes later, I get an apology letter saying, oh, never mind, we made a mistake. Like, it's crazy. This AI, they think this AI is going to be perfect. Well, it's made by people. It's obviously going to be flawed. The only thing that's perfect is Yahuwah, our king and priest under him, Messiah. Yahusha. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. Join me next week. Excuse me. Man, froggy in my throat. Anyway, join me next week. We'll do part 3 of Bereshith. Taking it little at a time is probably the best way to go, I think. It helps people understand. I can explain a little bit. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section, or even on my next live stream, excuse me. Feel free to ask any questions. But I hope you guys enjoyed the reading tonight. Join me next week, same time, same place, same book, different chapter. But I hope you guys have a blessed week. And shalom. We'll see you next week.